All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of The Urban Gardener. I want to thank you all so much for joining me today on this really exciting episode. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button right down below and follow along with more garden adventures as we continue growing here on The Urban Gardener. Today, though, we are in Pasadena, and while I'm down here in Southern California, I am going to check out the Urban Homestead. This is the Dervaes family farm, and many of you might have seen this farm pictured in social media over the years. It's been a project that's been going since 1985, and the kids of the Dervaes family are continuing the project here. So let's get inside, check out a tour, and see what's growing on.
Hello, I'm Jules Dervaes and welcome to the Urban Homestead. We're here today in Pasadena, California. It's a beautiful spring day and this is our front yard. You can see the Oyas in there. There's one Oya, two, three. There's two Oyas in here. This was the original thing from the original front yard Dad planted almost 30 years ago. It's still there, still growing. Lem verbena. Everything else has been redone. In the summertime it'll fill out. It'll be nice and we have a jabuticaba. It's a Brazilian fruit. We have a fig, petite negra fig, pineapple guava there, huge pineapple guava. We also have a bunch of herbs and flowers, edible flowers, nasturtiums, pansies, calendulas, miniature roses, lavender, fennel. And I'd like to take credit for all that, but half the stuff you see, at least half the stuff you see is volunteered every year. So if you get a good climate and they like the place, they'll come back. A lot of the stuff was landscaped, but then sort of naturalized. So we have the new metal raised beds there with mints, parsley, edible flowers, wildflowers. We have blackberries along the fence line. It always looks good.
Yeah.
It looks better some days, worse sometimes, but you know, tomatoes look ratty, corn looks ratty, so we try to avoid that in the front yard. So it comes and goes. So Dad did a good mix of perennials, annuals, drought tolerance, natives, and it looks good year round. So if you were going to be different, Dad wanted to make sure it looked good.
Yes. Is this part of your edible flower
This
box?
Yep. So we can see the blackberries there, how beautiful that they exploded with the rain. Should be from edible flowers. This is our backyard. You can see every square inch is taken planted. We have radishes, we have salad mix, lettuce, saute mix, another lettuce. It's heavy on the lettuce. We have compost piles in the back. My sister there doing some chicken for the chickens. This is our money making here. We can sell salad at $1 an ounce. In the summertime, this will all be covered in squash. And we have some grapes, a little bit of grapes left, but not much. Every 8 feet, the raised beds. This was done after Dad died for drip irrigation because I didn't want to start and stop the drip irrigation. So it's all continuous 40-foot. These are 40-foot beds. Cost about $50 each at Home Depot. I mean, to the wood at Home Depot. So we're able to. It'll last about 10 years untreated. Douglas fir. Obviously, you can afford redwood, but for us, it wasn't an option. So we were able to put in 40 new raised beds for about $2,000. This is what our claim to fame is. The hard part is getting access because there's not 8-foot pathways, but it's a small price to pay for convenience of watering.
Pack a lot in, right?
Yeah, every square inch. In the back wall there is TBD. I'm trying to figure out if I put a greenhouse or a bigger chicken run. So it's the corners of the yard I haven't quite got to
Just
yet.
not sure yet.
Yes. Weighing the benefits and drawbacks of It has double flowers. Double flowers.
Oh wow, that's really colorful.
Yeah, and mixed herbs. So.
And these are what you offer in your boxes?
Yep, this too. This is commercial size. So sample size would be like 15 flowers. This is 50 flowers.
That's for a restaurant then?
Yeah, and then our salad mix for our private chef. He should be here any minute, O'Neill. So he'll.
What do we got back here?
So it's coffee, honey, and jam. My sister makes the jam. A local family. We were talking about the coffee and honey from Ventura. Driveway. Plants everywhere. We got tomatoes. We got basil, herbs, flowers, peppers. So that's our Hoyas, the self-watering container.
And you have one of those in each of these here?
Yeah, plant 4 peppers around it, and it grows. It grows very well. There's no guesswork. It takes the guesswork out of it. It's drip irrigation, the old-fashioned way. We also have Hoyas along the edge there. We use the driveway again. We move it out. We'll have either special events and banquets and farm dinners, and we'll have to move, get a dolly and move all the stuff out. But we can get a lot of use and harvest off the driveway. This here is about a 1 foot or 16-inch raised bed, and there's 3 or 4 different things growing right now. We have kale, drizzle artichokes, and lima beans, and that's in just one little small area.
Yeah, it looks like you get a lot coming out of this space here.
Yeah. Exotic things we grow, like this is red vein sorrel, and this is the normal sorrel. This is your French sorrel. This is Rumex. We sell that as a garnish. People use that, and then when it's microgreens, we can use it in the salad mix. If it's too large, it gets a little bitter and tough, but it makes a dynamite garnish for customers and caterers.
Very colorful.
Yeah. Chamomile, purple basil, another different kind of purple basil, parsley, Swiss chard, and bachelor buttons. So you can see the older, there's some marigolds there and some more bachelor, but you can see the changeover between the old fall winter stuff to the spring summer. Eventually this will be so hot and dry, so I gotta change things over constantly because it gets too hot for some of it was salad greens, lettuce. They're starting to go to bolt to seed, and then eventually those will be those are all artisan tomatoes grown from seed, and hopefully we'll get a good harvest. Last year was the first decent tomato harvest in like 10 years. I don't know what happened.
So you got here with the Hoyas there in each one of these, you've got peppers growing?
Yes.
What varieties of peppers?
Bell peppers. We sell a lot of bell peppers through our CSA farm box program, and this is a nice south-facing wall, and it gets a little bit of shade in the summer, so they don't quite get sunburns. It's a good area. So far, it's worked. I hate to count my peppers before they ripen, but so far it's worked for the past 5 and 10 years.
Excellent.
Used to be I couldn't grow them, but now they seem to like it, or I seem to figure it out, or both. CSA farm box packing area / workshop / farm dinner / hoop nanny. So tomorrow we have 30 boxes, and each one is customized, so everybody goes online and selects what they want, hit save, and we work with 2 other farms. There's some carrots there, another farm, and we're able to mix and match, and it's a win-win situation for them and for us. We're able to offer more selection and support local farmers. This is our turn the garage into a classroom.
Oh, excellent.
So we have a gentleman has an open mic. My sister teaches classes here. The solar panels there, the inverter. So there's 12 solar panels on the garage. multi-use, multi-purpose room. Yeah, we still have the chickens and ducks. They're in the back there. It's a little messy because I think we got bees are on the top of the thing. Cob oven was built in about 15 years ago. Fire goes in here. Pizza, bread go in here. And smoke comes out the top. Takes 4 hours to preheat, so you better make something else.
Right.
One thing. We have some tree collards here with the, you can see the different stories, levels of planting. We have tree collards, we have edible flowers, and we have herbs, and then we have more edible flowers and nasturtiums. So there's like 4 layers in that one area.
That's an
Every square inch is
economical
taken.
gardening right
Yep.
there.
And all the dirt in that raised bed, he said, well, that's a lot of dirt. All of it was scooped out of the chicken coop every couple of months. We scoop it out, fill it up. So that helps. You don't have to buy dirt.
Very sustainable right there, huh? So what do you got here?
This is our first vegetable garden in 1985. When Dad bought the place.
That's where it all started right
This
there,
is it,
huh?
and the rest is history. You can see the patio there and the carport and the neighbor's roof line.
And this is the back area?
Yeah. This is the backyard, the garage, where we now have our workshop area. It's a moving van. It needed work. It needed a lot of work. This is our driveway. We saw our driveway now. This was the driveway in 1985.
Wow.
See the corner of the house right there?
Yeah.
That corner right there, that house. It was all grass.
And this is what we're looking at right now. Wow. Isn't that beautiful? What a transformation.
So we have the 2 blood orange trees there. The compost pile is there now, and this was a 30 by 30 concrete patio with earth boxes there. A couple years ago, well, a long time
using
ago.
earth boxes before, huh?
Before it was because it was all concrete.
Right.
Then one year we jackhammered it and turned it into that patio area.
So, all right, we just got a really wonderful tour of this great, famous urban garden here, the Urban Homestead, which was started way back in 1985, right?
My by Dad. Yeah.
Yep, this is Jules Dervaes,
Hello.
and he's been kind enough to invite us out here to check out this really cool garden. I've been wanting to see this garden for many years, and of course, every now and then you'll see posts and people will put it up, pictures of it, and like, you know, as like a dream garden. They would love to have, and as you've seen so far, I bet there's anybody who's watching this would love to have this sort of setup. It's a really wonderful garden you have here.
Thanks for coming out. We appreciate being on your channel, and hopefully inspire more people to do this.
Excellent. And this is a really inspiring place, just being in it. There's so many things I'm thinking of, and I'm looking at some stuff that you've already got going on. I'm like, I got to try doing some of this or try doing some of that, which is really kind of something about your garden too I want to kind of talk about, is that this isn't just a home garden, or a homestead per se. This is a lot more than that, right?
Yes. My dad wanted to, well, he started because of the drought and took out his front yard, killed the St. Augustine grass with the layer mulch. For us, it became a business and it's our lifestyle. So we're able to not only support ourselves, but support our family and supply local restaurants and caterers. And now our CSA Farm Box program, we have about 40 families a week. So that's able to, it's a good mix. We worked with a couple other farms to bring in stuff we can't grow. We like to grow as much as we can. We have specialty crops, salad mix, edible flowers, herbs, garnishes, and that's a pretty lucrative or specialty items.
Yeah. Excellent. So real quick, let's kind of go back just a little bit and kind of get a little more of the history of things. We mentioned this homestead or urban farm was started back in 1985 by your father.
Yes.
And your father was What was his name?
Jules Dervaes.
Jules Dervaes.
Jules.
Okay, and so Jules set this up, and like we saw with a picture earlier, just with a little small garden in the back.
He's always had a garden his whole life. We came from 10 acres in Florida. Before that, he homesteaded in New Zealand. Came back to the States, where I was born in Florida, on 10 acres. He had 40 beehives. He came out here to go to school. A mile down the road was a theology school. He was getting older and wanted to change career paths, and unfortunately that didn't work out, but fortunately this worked out. It's sort of a long and winding road.
Kind of transitioned
yes,
into
it
that.
Was not
so it
intention.
Wasn't intended to be.
This was a temporary stop on his journey.
Okay.
And it ended up being permanent.
It ended up being permanent. We're still here.
We're still here.
We're still here today, right? Excellent. And so then he started developing the backyard and front yard as food production for the family to begin with, right?
But a little before that, we started for the drought, and then we started with edible flowers. So edible flowers was our first foray into a business side. Then the economy went bad, and then the GMO scare came out, and we couldn't sell the flowers, so we challenged his family how much food he can grow on a tenth of an acre. And that was our first year was 2,300 pounds.
So it kind of started with a challenge.
It was documenting things, weighing things, how much could you actually grow, because we grew up always had a garden
on a larger space,
but you just didn't calculate it.
Yeah.
And then when the challenge was weighing every single ounce of herbs and vegetables, and it was for us as kids, it was like, oh, let's see, oh, that weighed that much, and our first year was 2,300 pounds. And it was like, we grew a ton of food, wow, and we didn't even try.
Yeah.
It was just an accident, or we didn't really maximize things. And then you get the itch or the challenge, like, oh, what can we grow more? Can we do this? Can we do that? And so we got 3,000 pounds.
A real
next
family
year.
project,
Yes,
though, too,
yes.
as well. So, because I just noticed you, as you were talking about that, thinking about the idea that you guys grew up with this as a part of your family and what you were doing. So it's not just you, though. Your father started this, but it's you, and then you have two sisters
that help manage the farm. My sister Anise and my other sister Jordan and I are currently running the farm. Our father passed away almost 2.5 years ago.
About
2 years and 4 months. And it's been a transition. It's been a learning experience, and we've gone through not only losing the founder of the Urban Homestead, but trying to figure out where we were going to go next.
Right.
And he was working to the day he died, so just losing that pair of hands, losing that the visionary, losing the help.
Right.
Basically, the family. It was a family farm, family business, family enterprise.
And you all had your
everybody had their. Everybody could do everybody else's job, but it's synergy. Two people made it work easier. My dad and I would water, take tag team and stuff like that, and it obviously changed a lot when he died in 2016.
So everything was just really raring and going, and was kind of just really kind of full speed up until that moment, right?
Yeah, we were. As with any business or enterprise, self-employed or farm, you have to adapt, and we were adapting. We're small enough, we're mobile enough, we're hopefully quick and smart enough to adapt on the fly. So we diversified. Had a little bit in farm to table, a little bit in after school program, a little bit with the hoot nanny and farm dinners and farm boxes. But after Dad died, it would just, I didn't say ground to a halt, but we just had to rethink everything. Streamline,
reprocess the whole idea, and put things back together. And you guys are kind of in the process of getting that moving again, right?
Yeah, we'd like to say this is our year 3. Our goal is for expansion.
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't want to expand too fast or too much, because we like to grow naturally and not overcommit to anything. The first year was a challenge. The first year was, for lack of a better word, brutal.
Yeah.
We stabilized the homestead the first year. The second year we stabilized the business. We were able to get it back up to pre-Dad's death levels,
Right.
in terms of clients and business. And then third year we're trying to expand with tours, workshops, and other co-housing options.
Yeah.
But it's been definitely a labor of love, and it's been a hell of a lot of work.
Yeah, keeping that dream alive, those things that you've built and really done as well, because
I love what I do. It's just it's still to be honest, sometimes it seems with the way the weather's happening, the climate changing, and don't even go into the business side, but sometimes it feels like it's harder to grow things now than it was years ago. Just the gardening, everything in the rain and the drought and the bugs and the imported pests, and you're saying this used to grow here, and it used to grow very well. It was like 7 years between good tomato harvest.
Yeah, I think like you mentioned earlier too, as we were walking through the side driveway there with the peppers.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you had a hard time growing
For years
peppers.
we could not grow bell peppers. I mean, it was just one of those things like, it doesn't work for us, it's not profitable. Something, we figured it out, we got smart enough, or the soil got better, or whatever you want to say, and that set up so far. No, I don't want to guarantee anything. That was one of the no guarantees in farming.
Right, that's right. There are no guarantees.
They look very good.
In gardening at all.
They look very good. And this year we've had 25 inches of rain. The drought is over, so
yes, they look wonderful. I love growing peppers. Everybody knows I love growing peppers, so they do look really good right now. So
you don't want to.
Hopefully you got a really good crop coming up.
Don't jinx it.
I'm not. All right. So one of the things you were talking about there too, I was going to mention, you live right across the street from a school, and so you guys offer school programs for kids.
It started years ago with my dad would be in the front yard, and obviously kids are curious and they want to know what's going on, so dad invited him over to come over for a tour, and his nickname was Farmer D, and they would walk across the street and yell, "Hi, Farmer D," and you'd see the kids growing up, and there's kids pick up different things. I don't know. I mean, you think they're not paying attention, but they really are. And years later, we talked to some of the kids that were part of the original farm to table or original farm tour, and they can almost remember everything that was told on that tour. And you're sitting there like, wow, they were paying attention, wow, they were listening, and it did make an impression on them. And if you look for us as adults and think, if you go down to their level, they said it's a jungle, and we said no, it's not. But drop down to their level,
get down a little lower,
and they can't see from one side of the yard to the other.
Oh, wow.
And there's like the jungle, and we love to help the kids, and they get a kick out of it, because unfortunately in the city they're not how do you say that? They don't see much of this, and over the time, it's funny, they went from seeing the chickens to the goats to things that now they get a thrill of petting the cat and the dog, because it's like a farm, and now they get to see wildlife, and it's changed now.
It leaves
really
an impression, and that's the thing, and you talk to a lot of gardeners out there, there's always some, that back to when you were a kid kind of memories that you have in the garden that kind of drive a lot of that gardening later on as adults. So putting those impressions in younger kids, especially when you have the opportunity with a school right across the street to be able to educate and show kids gardening, that, like I said, leaves that impression later on as adults.
You never know what's gonna click or what's gonna affect.
You're gonna remember, we were at the jungle, we were with Farmer D, and he showed us all this stuff.
And
we got
they
to
smell
see the
things,
chickens,
and they eat edible flowers, and they pet the chickens, and they pet the ducks. It's and the most amazing thing is when the kids eat farm fresh produce.
Yes.
They don't like vegetables. They were told by their parents tell us they don't like vegetables, and here they're eating 2 or 3 bowls of salad, and the parents are looking, what did you do to my kid? And it's like, well, fresh vegetables taste better. I mean, and the kid is just eating it, and and there's the proof is in the pudding. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
They don't eat vegetables at home, but they eat vegetables here. It's just really
it's the
funny.
interaction with your food though too. One of the other sayings is, teaching kids to garden. If you teach a kid how to grow a tomato, they'll eat a tomato.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You teach a kid how to grow salad, they're gonna eat salad. Or like you said, even giving them an impression of something that they don't normally get in their lives by visiting and seeing a place like this and doing that also.
Yeah, because you go to a grocery store and everything's perfect, everything's in season year round, and we grow some novelty stuff, we grow some exotic stuff, and the seasonal things, teaching it. adults and kids about the seasonal produce. Some things just aren't in season. We still have clients and customers that want tomatoes in January.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen here.
Right,
I mean,
no.
no matter how hard we try, we can try a greenhouse. But educating people on the seasons, educating on, like to think outside the box.
Yeah.
And people are so in this pattern that everything has to fit in this box or has to be in season year round, and you enjoy things more and you treasure things more if you get it once a year. It's watermelon season, or it's corn season, or it's tomato season. You treasure that more. And eating with the season, there's studies, beneficial reasons for doing that. There's also health reasons obviously, to eat with the seasons.
Excellent. Okay, so we've talked about the school right across the street, the kids coming over here, you're getting a chance to educate them, but right here on the property you have your own classroom.
Yeah.
So you are teaching and showing people some different types of classes that you offer here.
Yeah, we have my sister teaches some classes. A friend of ours teaches bread classes. There's fermenting class, canning class, jam class. My other sister does meat.
This is all ages,
and
too,
it's
right?
all ages. Well, meat. Okay, we just above the drinking limit. No.
Right.
Alcohol. We
Right, for meat. Yep.
Alcohol. No. Making your own wine. Honey meat is fermented honey.
Right.
A chicken class, how to raise chickens. I'm just going to try to pick up an introduction to bees. We had a lady here yesterday, and she was making a thing about bees, and it was just so nice to see somebody interact with bees.
Yes.
And you hold them on your finger. They're not there. It's beautiful. I grew
Bees
up
are
around
like
bees.
my fascination right now. I don't know why.
I grew up around
so
bees,
many
and
videos
it was just
on
like,
bees.
for me, it was everybody knew what a bee was. Everybody was natural, and introduce people to different kinds of honey, the different kinds of bees, educating that it's like it's not that easy, and then the honey laundering and the mixing of the honey with corn syrup and all that stuff. It's surprising what they're doing out there to our food system, supply. So,
yes, those sort of things going on.
Yeah, shockingly.
But that's why it's really good to be offering what you offer for everybody out here in your farm and just the sustainability and the education and all that sort of stuff you get from the space that you guys here. You guys are really
the longevity of it. Yes, it's been a long, winding road to get here, and hopefully we learned a lot, and obviously we lost our dad, and we'd like to keep it growing, keep it growing, and hopefully to the next generation.
Yeah. Okay, and so let's get into talking just a bit about the CSA that you offer here. So you guys are growing certain foods right here on the property that are offered in your boxes, and then you mentioned you have...
We work with 2 other farms to bring in like carrots or watermelon in season, or corn, things that aren't profitable for us to grow, but support a local farm or local family friend, and able to offer a little bit of diversity. And I like to say there's hills and valleys in farming. Even if you have your own garden, you have a lot of squash or no squash, a lot of tomatoes, no squash. And the more farms you mix in, it just levels out the hills and valleys. It's a win-win situation for us. We can offer more selection. We help other local farms, and we're able to, I believe it's a win-win situation. And it's a fully automated, customized farm box. We just don't throw in 20 pounds of zucchini and okra and say you're on your own. You pick what you want, you customize it, you save. If you're out of town, put your box on hold. You don't pay for what you don't pick up. So there's a couple of customers stopping by today checking us out. So it was nice to educate people about seasonal produce and what's available and what's local.
Yeah, that was kind of cool to see some people coming right in the middle of doing our little walkthrough and tour and everything. People coming, trying to get their boxes all straight and what they're going to get.
We started from a restaurant, selling to restaurants in Old Town and mom and pop restaurants, and then we went to a caterer and a country club. But this one, the CSA helps you see the person eating your produce or your friend produce. So you have a direct interaction. Somebody said, "Oh, what was in my box?" or what was this year or this season? And it's nice to have that personal connection to the people that are eating. And restaurants are great, and they pay a premium, and they do help support us, but sometimes just the direct contact with the person eating your food or your produce from or your friend's farm.
Yeah.
So just the connection.
And not just produce and fruits and things like that you're offering. You guys.
My sister makes jam. A local artisan makes the bread. But she lives around the corner, and another family does the coffee. It's alkalizing coffee, and it works.
Alkalizing coffee. What can we explain?
People
that
who
like?
This lady wrote a book about how her husband had some health problems, and she cured it through alkalizing diets. And duck eggs, coffee, the two items that we offer in our farm box program. Two of his items we offer, and those help alkalizing your diet. So it's people who can't have, due to health reasons, can't drink coffee, can't have this coffee. People who can't have chicken eggs can have duck eggs. People who are allergic to chicken eggs can have duck eggs. So it's alkalizing. There's all fads and things, but this one has studies of acidity. Alkalizing your body helps it out. Okay. It helps your body out. You can cure cancer, whatever, and help with digestion at least. It's health benefits of alkalizing your diet.
Excellent.
Alkalizing water.
So those are part of the things that you offer, though.
Yeah, that's how we got started with specialty items that aren't available commercially or available locally. We do the eggs. Friend does the coffee. It's one of our best sellers.
What in the garden that's growing is your favorite thing going on here?
Wow.
I mean, you've got so much growing on. There's got to be something in particular that you're just really fond of.
I have affinity toward tomatoes.
Tomatoes. I love tomatoes.
It's just gotten so hard with the weather and the climate, and the heirloom tomatoes are finicky. Like I mentioned before, it's like 7 years between harvest. Last year was the first time in 7 to 10 years I actually got a photograph of, what do you call it, photogenic harvest.
Right.
It was like enough to take a picture and enough to be proud of. It's like it was, I don't know, it was just the weather or the drought or thing, but I have tomatoes, but I love growing everything. My hardest part is not growing something. I don't have the space. I have to control myself with the seed catalogs, control myself with the nursery, control myself all the things I want to grow. Unfortunately, we're limited because I don't really have much space to experiment. So I can't just growing watermelon, growing corn, growing that, all great. We grew cotton, all great educational things, but when it has to be profitability and has to turn a profit, and it sort of takes a little bit of...
Kind of just takes up the space that you would want to be kind of playing around with.
And we have other issues is things not... You say, well, the reason I don't grow that is because it doesn't grow well. We have an issue with things growing too well. So, just like this year, or last year was New Zealand spinach, or every year is New Zealand spinach. It just comes back every year. But last year we had a purple goosefoot. It's like a lamb's quarter with a purple magenta hue on it, and it is beautiful. It's dynamite. It's edible. It's like nothing you ever. It's like almost artificially colored.
Wow.
We could show you that before you go. And it was like, oh, it's great. And it volunteered here and it volunteered there. And it's like, it grew 12, 15 feet tall. We have pictures on Instagram. It's like, wow, that's great. And it went to seed, and now the seeds are everywhere.
Oh, so
I mean,
they're
literally,
just popping up everywhere.
with the 25 inches of rain, it's coming up in the cracks of the
Sounds like a
sidewalks. It's coming
sunflower.
out. It's coming in the driveway. It's coming out in the pots. And I'm sitting there like, I hate pulling out plants, and I hate weeding.
It definitely
That's
sounds
not
like
a
my
weed.
sunflowers. I grow sunflowers. I love the sunflowers, and I did that. And then, like, over the next couple of years, they're, like you said, they're growing in every nook, cranny. They literally try growing down the middle of the driveway, even. It's like they're not going to get very far.
But if they want to grow there, I don't. I mean, it's here we try to pamper things and say grow here or else, and here you got things growing in the side of sidewalk in the middle of a driveway. It's like, wow, if something wants to grow there, I have a very hard time pulling it out. But last year was an education experience because you can actually have too much of a good thing.
Yeah.
And ironically, this year with all the rain, here's how you make something not sprout. Don't water it.
Right.
How do you make weeds not sprout? Don't water it.
Don't water them.
Now we had 25 inches of rain. Everything is sprouting everywhere. It's like a grass of weeds, but it's all edible. And you're sitting there like...
That's what you mentioned. You say they're edible.
They're edible, but it's growing in the wrong place. And you're sitting there okay, now I have to make the hard decision of what stays and what goes.
Yeah.
And we were talking about that earlier about even trees are growing too well, or
Yeah.
pineapple guava is growing too well and shading
Mhm.
other things. If I had to make decisions after, it's a living, breathing, working farm. So it's
Yep.
not a museum.
Yeah.
It's not stagnant.
It's got to evolve.
It's got to evolve, or you die.
Yep.
So on that vein, we've taken out the loquat, we've taken out pineapple guava. Have to make decisions on the blood orange trees. Like, I don't know. I
Yeah.
can get 10 salad harvest or 10 microgreens.
I'd have a hard time with blood orange
Yeah.
trees too. I love blood oranges.
It's like it's there, and you and your dad planted it 25 years ago from this little plant, and now it's this big. But with the bugs and the climate change, there's no guarantees anymore. It's very
Yeah.
hard. We went through a blueberry phase. We went through a apple phase. We went through
Yep.
a stone fruit phase. Went through a grapevine stage. We weren't in the grape business, but we sell the leaves, made stuff out of the fruit, and things change. And there's nature and life. You win some and you lose some, and we lost our dad, and we had to reorganize and re-landscape.
Yeah.
Just to stay in business. I mean, in strictly entrepreneur in business, you adapt or you die. I mean, you have to be quick or you go out of business.
Yep. But you're just bringing new life to a really great project that's just been growing and growing for years and years. And from what I can tell, so far, I could tell your dad would be pretty proud. This place still looks really, really amazing. Just as
It looks like I know what I'm doing.
just as picturesque as it's ever been.
Yes.
So, and I want to really thank you again for inviting us out here
I appreciate
and
you
letting me
coming
come
out
out here
here.
and check this out
Yeah.
and showing
Look
your
forward to
gardens
seeing,
to our audience there.
Look forward to seeing the piece.
Excellent, excellent. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Joining me here today on this episode. If you can, hit me that.
Don't tell me I didn't hit it. We're gonna do it again. Do it again. We got it, bro. We got it.
Welcome to another exciting episode of Pasadena, California. While I'm visiting down here, I am and get some questions. You think that's unorganized? That looks
Somebody else.
wonderful. What are you talking about?
Somebody on Facebook says your place is so organized.
It looks awesome.
Edit,
Take two.
take
Cut.
two.
Get one of those things with the
Chop.
chop chop.
Chop.
I have you in it right there.
Take
Okay.
three.
Take three.
Cars.
And good cars. We are right on the
Not
street.
urban. We're urban.
This is real, true urban gardening right here, and this is what I love making videos of, though, too, because I deal with the same thing at home: airplanes, cars, dogs,